half hour.
No.
Well, good, I just hope that Charlie gets here before,
Yeah, because he could come in.
yeah.
Is he confirmed for today?
Yep, yep, he's supposed to be here a little bit before 5, so.
How you been, Carl?
Good, Steve, how are you?
Busy, man.
Yes.
That was site work.
Well,
We do these, reviews every fiscal half.
Oh,
With
yeah.
my team, and for me to meet with my entire team takes 2.5 weeks to cycle through everybody.
wow.
And this is like filling every single free moment of my day, which
Oh, man.
I need to make it 4 weeks, I think, but it's so painful to think about.
Yeah.
And then of course everyone's doing the whole, I need a raise.
Oh,
I do need a raise, no, I'm just kidding.
Me too.
yeah, me
Tacking
too.
on, I mean, I wish my boss would listen when I say it.
Exactly 4:30. I call the select board meeting to order. Geez, I had a moment there. I make a motion that we go into non-public under RSA 91-A:32A. We're doing C first too, right?
As
So
well.
session 1, and then RSA 91-A:32C session 2
Second.
at 5.
4:30.
We're getting there. 4:31 p.m.
There, yes.
Second. Oh, okay. I seconded and then, all right. Yeah, Schaefer, yes.
Roberts, yes. 3 yes. 0 no. We are now on the public at 6:31 p.m.
4:31.
4:31.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was gonna wait until the show ends.
Let's see.
I make a motion to come out of non-public at 5:25 p.m. Roll call vote.
Yeah, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Roberts, yes. 3 yes. 0 no. We are now to non-public. Minutes are not sealed. Moving on to changes and additions to the agenda. There's some additions to the signature file. The accounts payable changed from $444,164.82 to $444,494.57. There was an additional abatement check that was included this morning in the accounts payable. And then the payroll is all was $67,946.10. Moving on to public input. Is there any public input? Hearing no public input. Moving on to new business. Department head update with Welfare Officer Paul Priestman.
Hi everybody, thanks for having me back. It seems like it was not that long ago, so I do not have a bunch of new stuff to report. Interesting, not a lot of requests for fuel assistance, which this time last year was sort of how I started the job, which was sort of
Yeah.
chasing down fuel assistance for folks.
And it's been cold.
And it has been cold. So I'm going to follow up in the spring. The last several years I've been beating the drum with Tri-County Cap to, in my role at the nurse's office, because I dealt with it there, and in this role. So I'm going to find out sort of what's going on. They streamlined their application process, but people may have just been discouraged by their past performance. So I'm going to sort of dig around and do some number crunching in the spring from current year and prior year.
So you don't think it's people aren't able to get through Tri-County Cap and therefore you're not hearing about it?
I don't know exactly what's going on. It's just queer, and I'm gonna try to quantify it in some way. Try to come up with some working theories. Yeah. Requests for rental assistance. People are struggling to to pay their rent and keep their jobs, and doing a bunch of work on that. But otherwise, no hot topics.
Good.
Do you have any questions?
Any questions for Paul?
And Leanne couldn't be here tonight, but she had sent a couple questions, I don't know if you.
Okay.
She said that based on our records, like this year from last year, the spending from our welfare line is down, so what do you attribute that to?
Down last year?
Like we've spent less this year than last year.
Oh, I don't think that's true. For January, so you've closed January, correct?
Well, we closed December. I'm sorry, 2024 from 2023.
Ah, yes, that was absolutely true. And I don't know, we talked about that at the budget meeting.
Was there still government money being
No,
thrown
people
around?
seem to be getting sort of weaned off of that in 2023 and 2024. I don't have a real good explanation. I think that there was one housing situation for one individual that sort of inflated the 2023 numbers.
Yeah.
So otherwise they were mostly comparable. I did a lot of redirecting in my first year.
Yeah.
And what is your take on the status of the homelessness for Tamworth folks right now? Getting a lot of unhoused folks?
I don't sense that it's changed.
No.
No, I don't have a real strong sense that there are more people at risk or finding themselves in homeless situations from last year. And that just is anecdotal. I'm looking at a pretty small sample.
Okay. What is the single biggest complaint or challenge you're seeing people struggle with?
I'm just paying their rent, and it's not that they have extremely high rents or they're finding that their rents are increasing. That hasn't been the case. In fact, the folks who we have sort of helped out and find themselves in sort of tricky situations, either an injury on the job or an illness or unemployment, a temporary sort of employment issue or health issue. So it's not, it doesn't seem systemic. But again, I'm looking at a pretty small sample, a dozen or 2 dozen
Yeah.
sort of individuals or cases.
Okay. Leanne, wanted to know, what are your go-to agencies for collaboration? Like, who are you working with to get these?
Yeah, Tri-County CAP has not been a great resource, and I knew that coming into this job. We're working, and sort of been beating the drum with them. It's sort of already, that's an ongoing project of mine, is to try to encourage better performance from them through different means. And being one welfare officer from one small town is not great, but I'm starting to work with some of the other welfare officers, public assistance officers in the other towns to again, encourage better performance from them, or to get better contracts through the straight. My sense is that they are under requesting funding from the state for the services that they perform. But that could be misinformed.
It's concerning that you said you were expecting them not to be very helpful when you even came into this, and it's continued to be true.
Yeah.
They request taxpayer funding every year on the warrant articles, and so maybe it's all anecdotal, but do you have any idea of what's going on?
I don't know, and my experience tells me that it's sort of a systemic management issue, right? That there is, sometimes in organizations there's sort of entrenched expectations about, what's going to work and what's not going to work, and things change over 10, 20, 40 years, and Berlin's a long way from just about everything.
Yeah.
But that's, again, that's just a hunch. And, you know, it'll just be sort of an ongoing project.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks.
sure.
That's all Leanne had, so.
Any other questions for Paul?
Great.
Thank you very much for coming in
You're
tonight.
welcome.
And thanks for the work.
Sure.
Yes, very much.
Okay.
Moving,
Okay, I'm sorry, can I get your name for the minutes and stuff?
Steve Brothers.
Oh, hi, Steve. I didn't recognize you.
moving on to the library rooftop solar contract review.
Which we gotta look at here.
So, the library has asked the board to override our purchasing. I don't need to read
Yeah,
that, okay.
no, it's just that the library did ask to override the purchasing policy for the rooftop solar. I can't hear me. So the library had requested to work with, specifically with one contractor, which would mean you guys would have to vote to override our purchasing policy, which says we need to go out to bid. So I have attached the contract for you guys, and if you have any questions for Mary, she's here.
Yeah, I guess my question is why. I think that I remember something at the budget hearing where the number that they provided was gonna be locked in if we went with them, if we agreed to work with them, and if we don't, then that number becomes variable.
It could vary, right, it was, and the fear is that, and this had happened with a previous grant that we had, that the equipment cost went up so much that it was more than the grant with the ERV project we did. We were able to find additional funding to finish that project, but at the same time, here we have another manufactured piece of equipment to be installed, and if you don't, and the expectation is that costs will go up right now. That's likely, and if we can get a contract. I don't know at this point whether it makes sense to do a contract, because at this point the funding is the State Department of Energy just sent, and I think it was shared with you, a communication from the person handling the municipal solar grant, and they talked to their legal department, who are the ones answering all the questions we have about whether the funds will be available, because it originates with a federal grant. So they can't say yes, and they haven't yet. So I think at any point, it almost doesn't make sense to go ahead with a contract if we don't even know if we're gonna get the funds.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say,
Yeah.
why even go that step?
Yeah, so it's still up in the air. It was going to be, oh, we'll have a new contract for you to sign in March, but now it's May. It
Yeah.
was April, now it's May, they're saying. So I think we just wait and see what happens, and if they can guarantee that the funding's coming and we can find out how much it'll cost at that time, we can decide to go to bid. The person we got the estimate from, we had put out a request for bids when we first were developing the grant, and we got 2 responses, and the one was, and they weren't even apples to apples, so that was another problem. We had one person on the Energy Committee who has some experience with solar installations, looked at it, said, you know, you'd be better off with this type of system, because what happens if one of the panels goes out, the rest of them still work, and if you get this one, they all work or they all don't. It's kind of like networking of computers, you know. Do you want all your computers to go down at once, or do you want to be able to have some operational thing? And I'm always in favor of having something work if it's not the whole thing. But so they're the person that did the final grant, the estimate is the person who installed the system on this the other part of this building here. And is also, what I found out is the person does the work for the other person that submitted the grant, the other estimate we had, which was higher. So anyway, we're happy to go out to bid. This guy's done a ton of work for us as far as doing, revising the grant, making sure we fit the grant specifications, that the federal guidelines would be followed, and all of that. And once they have a contract, they'll do the engineering, make sure the roof, you know, we know it is because it was built 20 years ago. but, you know, all the pieces and parts, how much do you ask this person to do before actually having a contract? It just doesn't seem fair, but anytime, in any case, with no guarantee that the funds are coming, even though you like to think they're guaranteed, because there was a contract signed by the governor and their council back in November or December, that now we know we need to rewrite this contract, you know, what's gonna change. So we don't know enough, I think, to proceed and ask this guy to sign a contract, because at this point, we don't know when it'll happen. If the funding comes through, it'd be great. So I hope we know more by town meeting, because it would be great to stand up and say, hey, we know we're gonna be getting this, but if we stand up and say, we might get the grant, if we don't get the grant, we won't do the project. So that's the trustees' feeling, is that no money, no project. Yeah.
Right now, the warrant article is using unassigned fund balance money to
Right.
fund it, but,
We won't do it. We won't
Okay.
do it.
Yeah, so we should change that.
what, on the warrant?
Well, we can't change the warrant, but we can speak to it at town meeting.
Right, yeah, you can explain.
Yeah. So it would be great if the funding came through and we could get the project done. I think it would be a real benefit for the library, for the town, for, you know, the bill. I mean, you've been back there, it's sunny as hell. You know, it's like blinding with the white building. So we could definitely use some of that energy and make some electricity over there.
So, is there any action to be?
I don't think we need to take any action tonight.
No, I recommend you don't do anything with a contract with
Yeah.
anybody for the solar until we learn more about the funding.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for
Yeah.
coming in tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you, thank you.
Moving on to the expendable trust fund, with the lake,
Yes,
to
this
do
is-
with,
Yeah, the Lakes Region Fire Apparatus. This was, back in December, engine one's, pump failed, it's an annual certification. It needs to be completely rebuilt, so, Chief Colcord was kind of wondering how to handle that, and with it being the end of the year. And him, at that point, he still needed to do some, gear purchasing, so we didn't want to overspend the 2024 budget, but we didn't want to budget for it for 2025. But this is what that expendable trust fund for repair and maintenance is set up for. This is $11,000. So anyway, I would just, if you folks are okay with using the expendable trust fund for this pump repair, I just need you to motion to use that reserve fund.
I hope that we do it. If not,
How else would we do it?
they'd probably do it out of their budget somehow, I would think.
It would have to come out of their budget, which he's concerned about because we had all departments kind of trim their budgets, so this would not have been anticipated.
How much?
It's 11,000.
$11,305.
Yeah.
What's their equipment repair line? You probably don't know.
I can tell you because we have our handy dandy reports here. The fire department maintenance line for 2025. It's 25,000, but last year they spent 33,000, so. And then they have another 7,500 in equipment maintenance, so I guess you could use that too. But if you remember, we kind of encouraged all department heads to trim their maintenance lines so that we could use this fund. So, we haven't had to use it yet, it
No.
sat for a year.
So just playing a little bit of devil's advocate on using that fund for it. I mean, why wouldn't we wait till the end of the year to potentially, like, see what happens with their budget, and if they have another big item, you know, maybe it's only 5,000 or 3,000 or something, you know.
Yeah, let
try
them
to-
spend their budget down,
Yeah,
yeah.
So
I mean,
you,
that-
yes, and you actually can do that. So like the way we do the capital reserves is we spend from the operating budget and then request to be reimbursed by the trustees of the trust funds. So actually, this invoice is already paid in this week's accounts payable. But, right, you can request that, and we can do it later in the year.
I think that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
We
that's
see
my
how it
feeling,
goes.
because I mean,
See
you
how
know,
it goes.
see how their budget goes, and, I mean, not to piss anybody off, but I think that that's kind of, would make more sense, because we're early on, it's only January, so,
Yeah.
you know, in a few months, if they have another incident, I think that at that point,
Okay,
or at least maybe see
Yeah, let's hold off.
how they
Oh, I
would
like that idea.
sure.
feel about that.
So then, I do not need a motion from you guys then.
Thanks.
Good thinking, Emily.
It's there either way.
Right, exactly.
They can spend it now or later, but if we can keep it within budgets,
Yeah.
then all the better. And we don't have to raise that money again
Right.
next year. Where are we here? So, old business, there is none. Administrator report.
Oh, okay, so, just a reminder that candidates night is March 3rd at 7 o'clock at the Brett School. You be there, Carl?
I'll be there.
Leanne should probably be there too. Our annual reports were printed, so there's copies around town. You each have one. I think they look nice.
Yeah, they do.
Is that the only one of those that have a picture on?
Yep, this is it. And then, what else do I need to tell you guys? Oh, schedule reminder. So Thursday, March 6th, transfer station bathroom bids are due. Those will be opened up in the office because that's how the request was put out. So I don't know if it doesn't have to be an official meeting, but I believe Richard said he would be here, and Steve, you might want to be here. If you two want to open up the bids, you can then kind of fill in the select board with your recommendations.
What time, do you know?
I believe it would say, I'll double check, but I think it says 2 o'clock.
We don't have to open them in public session?
No.
Okay.
Well, it is in public, it's just not at a meeting.
Oh, okay.
The bid specifications just say time and place where they'll be open
All
and
right,
reviewed.
Okay.
It does not have to be in.
Might not be able to make it, but if it's 2 o'clock, but I'll,
That's okay, I know Richard can be there.
When is it?
Thursday, March 6th.
Is it posted as a select board meeting or not?
No,
So we shouldn't have 3 select board
we shouldn't
members?
have a quorum, no, should just be
Okay.
1 or 2 members.
if you want to be there, I most likely won't be able to make it.
Okay, if you can make it, obviously.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
But I just gotta, I guess I can wait till, wouldn't make any difference, I was just curious.
And last I checked, we had like 10 contractors request bid documents, so I mean, I don't know, that doesn't mean they'll all put in bids, but that's a promising number,
Yeah,
so.
a lot better than last time.
So that's the 6th, and then Tuesday, March 11th is town election at the townhouse this year. So, no meeting that night,
Good.
but Leanne
I
and
can't be there.
Carl can't be there because they're up for re-election. I checked with the moderator and he said that as long as you, Richard, and Steve can each do a shift, there's one board member present throughout the day, then that's,
Okay, so that's the 11th?
yeah, Tuesday the 11th.
That's my birthday, so preferably don't want to take the last shift,
You should pick the shift you want.
Happy birthday.
first or second.
Yeah. And then Wednesday, March 12th is town meeting, so at the school. Pray to God there's no snowstorm.
What, that would be Thursday, you said?
Wednesday,
Wednesday, right,
March
March
12th, yep. And then Friday, March 21st, the bids are due for the concrete slab and electrical work for the compactor at the transfer station. So, those will be opened again, like in our office. Richard can be here to open them, review them. And then my guess is between the bathroom bids due at the beginning of March and then the compactor bids due on the 21st, at the 25th, which is our next standard select board meeting after town meeting, you guys should be able to look at all the bids and come to an agreement and award them. So that we can start making movements in April, hopefully.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Was the concrete bid just put out by invitation, or was it put out like advertised?
It was advertised. We put it in the paper,
Okay.
the Conway and Laconia Daily Sun, and it's on our website. But, so the bathroom bid is the only one that's being managed by Sanborn Head, the engineers. The compactor bids for concrete, electrical, and then we also have an RFP for a construction manager. Those are all, were sent through our office. And I did have one contractor reach out and say, you know, are these all separate projects, or can somebody bid on kind of all of this as a group? And my inclination is say you can bid on it all. But just the way the grant worked and our engineering firm, it's kind of parceled out. But hopefully it's all cohesive and coordinated by one person. So. Anything else I need to tell you? I did start, traditionally you guys have a read file. I started a new one that's like a bin on the in our office. So that's where I'll put like the build out analysis and things. So anytime you pop in the office, if you want to just look in that bin, that's kind of your new read file. And lastly, we have our audit scheduled for March 25th through 28th. So that's my next pile of work, is getting through the audit. That's all I've got. Oh, and our accounts payable, our bank account balance is $3,810,691.
Moving on to select board update.
I don't have anything to report.
Okay. Nothing much new from my end either. Touching base at least with the transfer station folks, making sure things are going smooth, and they seem to be going great. One thing I did want to bring up is I had someone contact me from the town to let me know that March 5th at 7 p.m. is the school board budget hearing. So please show up. That's it.
Can I go backwards?
No.
No, I did get a complaint about a mailbox hit by the snow plows, and I just wondered if we had a policy actually written anywhere.
If it's a town road, normally, I don't know if it's in a policy, but Richard goes out and fixes it. But if it's a state road, that would be
No.
up
Yeah.
to the state. Yeah.
Huh, okay.
Yeah, I've called Richard before and said, they took out a mailbox, and he's gone and fixed it, so.
That's all.
I
I had someone call me about it, so
usually when I get those calls, I'm like, text them Richard's number.
Yeah.
Good luck. Can't get a hold of him, call me back. Select board update for me, I don't really have anything. At least there's actually contested positions this year.
yeah.
For the
You may not be
races.
seeing me around.
Stop crossing your fingers. Moving on to public input. Is there any public input?
I have a question.
Yes.
I put in for that 91A request,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't heard.
Well,
You were looking on it.
Yeah.
You needed some more time.
yes.
I still haven't heard of it.
Yep, I did compile everything. Our attorney was out on vacation for a week, so I'm hoping to hear back from her tomorrow. I'll check in, but waiting patiently.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public input?
I have a question.
Yep.
The bid for the bathroom at the transfer station, does that include the septic system and everything?
No, the septic was,
That's separate.
it hasn't been completed though.
Right.
But yes, that's separate. We already have a contractor that we had
He actually gave us a bid on it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And said,
Have we checked in with them?
he said he was honoring that.
Yeah, I would think nothing has gone crazy, like that was at the point when materials and everything had gone crazy, so I don't think anything's changed dramatically.
Right.
So, any other public input? Hearing no public input. Moving on to the signature file. I make a motion to approve the select board meeting minutes dated February 11th, 2025. The select board non-public meeting minutes dated February 11th, 2025. As well as the select board budget hearing meeting minutes dated February 5th, 2025.
Second.
Roll call vote.
There, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Roberts, yes. 3 yes, 0 no. I make a motion to approve the intent to cut map 413 lot 18. Access road is Meter Road off Cleveland Hill Road.
Second.
Roll call vote.
There, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Roberts, yes. 3 yes, 0 no. I make a motion to approve a driveway permit for Depot Road, map 415, lot 50. This is for the new gravel pit.
Second.
Roll call vote.
There, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Roberts, yes. 3 yes, 0 no. I make a motion to approve the 8283 non-cash charitable contribution for map 206, lot 97. This is a tax form that a resident needs signed by the board when they donate a conservation easement to the town.
Second.
Roll call vote.
There, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Roberts, yes. 3 yes, 0 no. I make a motion to approve the payroll in the amount of $67,946.10.
Second.
Roll call vote.
There, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Roberts, yes. 3 yes, 0 no. I make a motion to approve the accounts payable in the amount of $444,494.57.
Second.
The school payment is $276,000. Eastern Minerals road salt and sand is $18,755. Fire apparatus $11,305. Atlantic recycling compactor $28,470. Roll call vote.
There, yes.
Schaefer, yes.
Roberts, yes. 3 yes, 0 no. No other public input for this meeting? Motion to adjourn.
5:55.
5:55.
How you doing?
100-hour, good job, everybody.
Hey guys,
Have a good night, everybody. Thank you for coming in.
You too. Think of all this, which is Jim.
Yeah, that's the new ground level.